Alright, what you see here is a Hampton-based Rockport ceiling fan. It's a 42-inch hugger from the mid to late 90s. I'm not sure what was the last year they sold the Hampton-based Rockport before they came out with the downrod 52-inch version many years later. That's being sold as of this day. But this one I got from fellow fan collector Aaron Tarska. He picked it up for me at I think it was a restore or something like that. And he had messaged me about it, and I said, grab it. I'll pay whatever it is and pay shipping and extra. So, yeah. It's kind of obvious as to why I got this fan. There's a few reasons. One is that he's a childhood for me, as my cousin has a white and brass one. Filmed it many years ago on the channel, about a decade ago now. Yeah, it's actually been 10 years already since I filmed it, like towards the summer of 2013. That fan is still there to this day. I just saw my cousins recently. So yeah, not at the house, but it was for Thanksgiving. But yeah, that fan's still there, along with the landmark in the Verde Huntington that I never did get to film, but I do have pictures of it in some of the older slideshows. But this is basically the same exact version of the Rockport that's at the house. The difference with this one is that it has a sticker logo, whereas that one has the logo on the housing. Another reason is that you don't see Hampton Bay Rockports show up that often for some unknown reason. But because they were sold for quite a few years, a good 5-ish years, I'd say. So it's not like they were only around for a year or two. And thirdly, and most obviously, is that it's in a very rare finish, which is gunmetal. The fact that this even showed up was surprising to me, because to my knowledge, I don't think anybody even knew that these existed in gunmetal. But back in the day, Hampton Bay did throw a few oddball finishes for some of the fans. Like the Huntington one did come in a chrome finish with clear blades. The Huntington 2 came in a sandstone finish as well, as the Huntington 3 for a very short period. But some of the stuff was never documented in the catalogs. If anything, it was probably like in newspaper ads. But to my knowledge, there's really no documentation about these coming in this finish. So yeah, this fan specifically is from April of 1996, so it's a few months older than me. I was born in October of 1996, towards the end of the month. But yeah, this is just such an oddball fan, and I absolutely love it. It has black blades on one side, and the other side it's like a rosewood walnut finish. You would not think that this fan is already 20-something, 28-ish years old almost, but it is. It honestly looks like a plain black fan, but you can tell with the shininess of the black that it's not black. It's like a gunmetal. But yeah, I know a lot of people have been wanting to see this fan filmed, and since I've been getting back into the testing, having this free time, I figured this should definitely be one of the ones that I get out of the way. On the long list of fans I need to test. So yeah. So the metal ring around it's gunmetal. The switch housing, motor housing, blade arms are gunmetal. The blades are black. It has the sticker logo. Surprisingly, to change a brass, I honestly would have expected them to make them like a black finish or even chrome, but for some reason they chose not to. I feel like it would have been better if they weren't brass in terms of the finishes matching, but yeah. But yeah, with the light bulb, I chose to use a clear one, obviously. That's because I feel the clear bulb suits better with the clear glass. So yeah. And I am using a daylight bulb. I know it's actually not the preferred light finish that I'd use when I test down here. However, for this specific fan, I felt that soft light and bright light didn't really correspond with the gunmetal finish that well, especially with the clear glass on this. So I figured I'd get a daylight bulb, and honestly, I really like how it looks. Now, if you want to complain about it in the comments, that I should have done it with a different color bulb, like bright white, soft white, I can understand it, especially with it being a rare finish, but I just feel like this finish, white bulb, really makes the finish pop out more than the other two, without it making it look like a brass finish that's faded looking. But, yeah. I mean, just look at it. Like, with this finish, I feel like it just really makes the finish look more like gunmetal, not like a black, like an extreme and over repolished black finish. Yeah, there's not really that many fans out there to begin with that are even sold in this finish. The only fan I know of to this day that's sold in this finish is the Home Depot Hugger, the Hampton made one. Online, you can actually buy that fan in gunmetal, which at some point I'd love to get, even though it's not the best quality fan. Just the fact that it's in gunmetal, it's kind of a rarity, and plus it's not too expensive. So yeah. But yeah, let me go ahead and turn the light off. It gives off good lighting. It is just a 60-watt bulb, so it's not going to be anything super bright. But yeah. This is a FEIT, I think it's like FEIT branded bulb that I got from Walmart. I was trying to find a bulb that wasn't super expensive, but also was just a single daylight one. So yeah, let's go ahead and start off on the fan is actually pretty quiet, surprisingly. I was expecting it to be a little bit noisier or to hum, but to my surprise, it actually does not. It has somewhat of a fast low speed to it, in my opinion. But it is pushing a good breeze though, so. But yeah. But the fan is definitely a really obscure thing from the 90s, which is why I wanted it. And also, since these are fans that you don't see often in general, just finding it in an unknown finish that was not known about until this fan was discovered. Yeah, but I mean, I'm wondering if this is like a very exclusive thing. Maybe it was like a short-term thing they did in this finish, like for a few months, and then discontinued it. I do know sometimes they would do that with certain models at the home centers. Like it'd be like a special buy item or something. Like a limited time model or something. If it wasn't for the fact that this is such a rare fan, I mean, this is the only one that's ever surfaced within the fan community. Like, if it wasn't for that, I'd installed it somewhere because of how cool it looks. But I also don't want it to get worn out, so for that reason, I wouldn't install it. The only other fans that I really know of that came in this finish are, I know the Hunter Infinity came in this finish during the first year that they were sold in 1991. Then in 92 they got replaced with the black one, which is the same type that I have in my living room. I'm trying to think if any Casablanca models came out in this finish, but I do know that I think, like, I know some Amazon models came in this finish, like the designer stuff. Yeah, these were basically like the Rockports back when these were versions were sold, the Hugger ones. They were basically like the other option for the Littleton, but this less plain looking had more. It was more of a classy looking Littleton, I guess. It's the best way to put it. And then they had the great, and obviously that was the downrod version. So it was like one of the more budget friendly models that they sold back then for the price. I mean, the Chatham was one of them too, and the Carriage House I think was one of the more pricier ones. This is just based off of like some newspaper ad stuff that I've seen on Google. It also does depend on the location that they were being sold at too in the state. It's funny because I'm just seeing the light on it now. It's clear glass on it. It kind of looks like a street lamp or something, or like something that you like see like in a store, like a commercial store or something like that. Well, it has a good low speed to it. It's a little bit fast, but it's not like overbearing for a low speed. But again, I just honestly can't get over how silent this fan is. It has to be the quietest, cheaper Hugger that I've tested down here. Like it's literally silent. All right, now for medium. I'm moving a good breeze on medium. It's not going extremely fast, but a little bit faster than your typical medium speed, but not by a whole lot. I forget who makes that. I originally thought it was like made by like J&P, but I think this was made by Aloha Housewares, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's not CEI, it's not air cool, and it's definitely not SMC, but I think it was either J&P or Aloha Housewares, which is basically like the same manufacturer for a lot of those Walmart fans, like the Aloha Breeze ones. But honestly, even though this isn't the best made fan, obviously, and by any means, it definitely does perform better than you'd expect it to. It's not doing any crazy humming to it or vibrations. It's actually pushing a decent breeze for what it is. Alright, let me show up the light. Yeah, I'm definitely thankful though that Aaron found this and was considerate enough to message me asking me if I wanted it. Because I do know there are collectors that sometimes don't do that. Maybe just post about it, but they don't even mention that they found one in such a rare finish anywhere. So I definitely, Aaron, if you are watching this, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, this isn't the only fan I've gotten from him. I got the Emerson, um, what was it? The designer, the black one, the barbecue black one, the Monte Carlo Micro, and there's a few others. I know there's a few of them that I haven't revealed just yet. Oh, and the Hunter Brunswick was another one I got from him. I think those are the only ones I've tested down here that I've revealed, but there could be a few more. I know this is definitely the most recent one. Yeah, alright, now let's move it up to the high speed. I'm not sure where this was installed, but I do know that whoever owned it before it was donated to the whatever thrift store he got it at, what is it? I do know they had it with the black blades facing down, because it has the indent markings on the blades from that side facing down. But yeah, as you can hear, the fan's silent except for the air movement that you hear from it. It's a fan that honestly I like it enough that I'd actually have it installed in my bedroom if it wasn't for the fact that it's not that strong. But appearance wise, it's like if I was just a person that just needs someone to do the job, I didn't care about performance and quality and all that, I'd honestly would pick something like this out for my room. Or the newer Home Depot Hugger version, just like for the finish and such. Yeah, I really do like this fan a lot, and I would love to have it installed. It's just chance of me finding another one of these if something gets broken on it are slim to none. So I just do not want to risk it. Like it's basically something, in my opinion, I feel that's worth having in the Fanimation Museum, just because of how rare it is. But I know people are going to be, oh no, it's just a cheap Hugger fan. I mean, it is, but it's also in a very rare finish. But that's just my opinion. But it's moving a good breeze. I am impressed with it though. Like it's doing better than I expected it to. I mean, you feel more of a breeze from it underneath it, not so much from far away. But what I am feeling from underneath it is actually more than you'd expect, especially considering that you're not really feeling it from a distance. It's definitely good for like a small bedroom and such. Like it definitely will do the job with this little fan. Who knows, maybe if I get my own place, I might install it somewhere. Definitely would make for a good office fan, I feel. Like a small office, little small office fan of sorts. I just know that in this apartment I'm living in now, I definitely do not want it installed. And I also don't really have anywhere that I could install it where it wouldn't get ruined. Except for my bedroom, but honestly I'd rather have something stronger there. But yeah, no, this fan, it's definitely better than I thought it would be. Performance and with how quiet it is. Might be like it's definitely one of the quietest Hampton Bay fans I've tested down here. I mean, in terms of the Hugger fans, like the cheap generic Hugger fans like these, it's definitely possibly the quietest one aside from like the Mickey Air Mesas or the Air Cool Hampton Bay Littleton or the Boston Harbor. Well, although that one did hum sometimes, but that was mostly because the screws were loose on it. But and I say it more so if like the fans that are 42 inches, not so much 52-inch ones. But no, it's definitely better than what I expected. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's definitely pushing a good breeze. I mean, I am feeling a bit of air now that I sat back down, but Like I'm feeling her air but around. I'm not feeling like a breeze towards myself, like in my face, but like around me, around my body and such. I'm feeling like the air circulating. So yeah, it definitely is something that will do the job. I'd love to put this in a small kitchen or something, but it's just too nice of a fan and a finish that I just would not want to risk it getting ruined. Like it's a fan that I'd put in a room that probably wouldn't get used all that much, and I wouldn't have to clean it all that much just because I'd want to keep it as pristine as possible and not have to wear it out on it and such. I definitely could. I'd say that this fan's about on par with the Boston Harbor hugger that I just tested not too long ago. It's pretty close to it. I feel it's a bit less, but it's actually not that far off. I'll shut off and spin down. Then I'll show it on reverse. Something I always did find interesting is that with the Rockport, they came with a few finishes, white and brass, polished brass, and this gunmetal. Something that I always wish that they did with the Whittleton, and still do to this day. I mean, the Mainstays one they did it back in the day, and then they just recently came out with it in a black finish again. Although that was never offered before. And the Armitage, they just recently started offering it in brushed nickel and oil bronze, the 52-inch one. I mean, I get they're cheap huggers and such, but it's just for those who want a fan that's in a different color and it's not just white, and that's what they can afford budget-wise. I do feel it's better that they have them in different finish options just to make it fair for those who can't afford the more pricey fans. I get they're on a very tight budget and such. I know the Armitage, the 42-inch one back then, came in a few finishes as well. In fact, at school that I work at, I'm pretty sure that fan in the former break room is actually an Armitage. That was, from what I've heard, is a special order one from online back in the day. That came with an integrated white. It was like an online order fan of some sort. I was too young to remember from like the late 90s, early 2000s, so I wouldn't know. That's a decent spin down time to it. I do know I remember seeing fans like this as a kid. Like, I don't know if they were exactly Rockports or Encon Corinthians, but except for like the one at my cousin's house. But I do know I remember seeing some fans with this type of white kit, 4 blades, and such. So they are childhood for me. I do know that the original Hampton Bay Rockport did not have this housing. It had the standard housing like the Whittleton would have. I know the Fan Mower Man did a video of one a while ago. Though he had it titled as the Hampton Bay Whittleton, the white and brass one, but it's actually one of these. Just that it didn't have the original globe, so that's what kind of made it confusing about it being a Whittleton. But it was actually a Rockport. Hi, I do know that so many of these were probably made by Encon back then too. During the time period that this was sold, I know some of the Hampton Bay fans were relabeled Encon fans. And Encon did sell a fan that was similar to this, the Encon. I think it was called the Corinthian. I know there was a few versions of the Corinthian from Encon. A 5-bladed one, 4-bladed one, and I think it was a 4-bladed one that had this type of white shade to it. But I could be mistaken. Right now for medium. Yeah, I am honestly just blown away by how quiet this fan is. Never in a million years would I have expected it to be this quiet, especially with the mounting bracket being very thin metal, little to no like insulation for like if it was to vibrate or anything. Like I was expecting this thing to be on a noisy side, but it's just so quiet. I really can't get over how quiet it is. Like the only sound you hear from it is literally just the air it's moving. Like it's quieter than the 300 fans I have installed upstairs, the bathroom dressing room, the low profile plus, and the infinity. Because all three of those do have a little bit of a hum to them. So the fact that this is quieter than those three is honestly very shocking to me. Even the Panama 2 is in some ways is quieter than the one that's in my room, as that fan does have a tiny bit of a hum to it on the medium and high speed. Not a major amount, but just a tiny bit. I mean, the fan literally has like no vibration to it. Very minimal vibration. I wish that they had like a spray paint finish that was similar to this. That if someone wanted to custom make a gunmetal fan, that they could make something similar to it. And it really is a shame that it's not really a finish that's recognized enough or even known about. Because I do feel that it's a finish that would sell well if it was sold more. Like if there was more fans that came in this finish. Especially nowadays, like it's definitely a finish I can see doing well today. It's a very underrated finish, unfortunately, that I hope it someday can get recognition, but unfortunately I feel that it will not. But at least there's some fans out there, the very few that do exist, are there that we can enjoy and appreciate. Alright, so that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.